Good morning traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to a new trading week. So far this morning we're seeing a flat USD after another range bound session that locked in, a continued range bound session from last week into Friday. So we can see the break high that was rejected and that continued range on the dollar, and that was after last Tuesday's extremely strong reaction to the CPI data. So this week the keys that are coming up this week will be the FOMC rates are expected to be increased once again this week, and the Bank of England's rate decision as well, and rates are also expected to be increased. So the pound was trading at lows not seen for many years last week, and we can see that here by just zooming out. We can see that break below the 2020 low, and it has seen a fight back, but we saw a move all the way back down to that 1.13 area. And if we just jump to the weekly chart, we can see that level also broke the low we saw way back in after the Brexit. So very strong push lower from the pound, and I think a lot of people are now wondering, has it sort of reached a point where it may rebound from this area? But again, it's just because it's reached a significant low, it doesn't always mean it's going to rebound, but it's definitely now time to keep eyes on it, and to see if buyers will start to think that is an area that we're going to rebound from. We can see on those last 2 points we've reached this area. We have seen rallies start from those two areas, so we can see here that ended up becoming a strong rally, and we can see in this time back in 2020 we did have a strong rally. So will we see another strong rally? There's a possibility. We'll have to give it a bit more time to work itself out and just see if things do continue to push the dollar higher. So the key one coming out this week will be the statement from the Fed and what their thoughts are on inflation. So last week there was an increase in inflation, and we did see a increase as well in retail sales, but does that mean that things are still in dire straits, or are the Fed now starting to be a little bit more confident, and are they starting to see signs that inflation is sort of under control? We have heard talk as well that while government spending remains, that the inflation won't come down. So we'll have to see this week what is released from the Fed and what their thoughts are on it, and if we are going to see any key hints about the rate cycle moving forward after this week's increase, if they do increase as expected. So it's the same with the UK. When the Bank of England meets, we'll see if that rate rise does come through in full, and if it does meet expectations, if that does help the pound at the moment. So the Aussie dollar this morning is trading slightly higher, but the story is the same. We've seen that lower move down to end last week. The damage isn't nowhere near as bad as what we're seeing with the pound and what we have seen with the euro. So the euro at the moment as well is trying to fight back, but we did see that push lower. Sorry, this is on the weekly chart, just swap back. So we did see that real sharp move lower last week, and we have seen a few bars higher to end last week. So we'll need to see now if this area around at 99.41 down to 9.889, if they can start to set up some sort of firm support. We're seeing a range setting up now, so there could be signs that the euro is starting to try and settle, and if we do get, we want to see a move hold above parity, but again a lot will come down to the USD, and if the dollar can make a new move higher and continue this trend that we're seeing here. So we're seeing plenty of nice steps up. We have that higher high, higher low. Now we just need to see that new higher high just to continue the phase of a normal trend. So gold was another one that didn't really have a great week last week. We saw that real strong break below that 1693. We did see a higher session on Friday, and we did see a pushback from buyers, but again it's in a nice looking downtrend at the moment. And oil We're still watching oil. I still like oil for the fact that we're seeing this higher low here. We did have that sharp move down last week, but we did see buyers quickly come back in. We've seen the lower low now, but we have a higher low at this point here. If we can see a move up and test and get back above 90, could be a good sign. But we have seen this before previously, and we have seen further rejection from sellers pushing the market back lower again. So indexes at the moment we're seeing on the ASX, so a bit of a flat start on the CFD. We did have that strong move lower to finish last week, and again, this is an area that if we do get back into, we'll be looking to see if we can see some support pick up in this area. There's plenty of congestion here. It could start to feed some demand. And over to the US indexes, we can see the US 30 got back down into this support area here we discussed in the report last week. So far so good. We're seeing plenty of rejection and buying, but we'd like to see a hold there, and I think a lot will come down to the FOMC and the message from the Fed if we're going to see either a break back into this area, or if we're going to see a move higher and possibly test or break that 31 to 70 area. The S&P, it's a similar story. I'll just update that. Again, like with the US 30, we've seen a move back into congestion. It's a similar kind of story there for both of those markets. And for the Nasdaq, once again, a bit of a deeper push lower, but we would now like to see if this area at 11,684 will be support, and there is plenty of demand down below that area, all the way down to 11,460. So again, it's really going to come down to what the message is from the Fed, and if we're going to see, another real hawkish tone, or if we see more of a dovish tone, if that's going to help get buyers back in the stocks and set up some sort of support areas this week. So over just finally to cryptocurrencies, we can see Bitcoin continues to trade pretty range bound, not too much happening after last week's sell-off. There's just a fair bit of positioning going on. We see support anywhere down to 19,128. It is under 20k again, but I don't think that's really the end of the world from a price perspective. Right now we do have a lot of support down to 18,748 or 50. So again, this needs that message to sort of help it. Now, on the back of the merge last week, the Ethereum didn't do too much. We saw a little bit of a fight back, but but over the weekend, we've seen another strong move lower. We did break that low, which was at that 1463. So again, I'm not saying Ethereum's going to keep falling and end up back down at 1264, but that looks like a likely point to offer up plenty of support if we do see a move down. We just need to keep an eye on if we do have another run lower. There's no real support here. There is a bit of support and demand here, which we are below, but again, I think a lot of markets needs to be waiting for some sort of direction that's saying that the Fed could be turning more to the dovish side and away from the hawkish side. I think if we did see that message come through, there'll be a bit of a green light for buying, as we've seen previously. So I think a lot will come down to this week's FOMC and the message that comes from the Fed. So that's it for today's trade zone update. So we do have seminars coming out in the middle of the week with other guest speakers, so please check them out. And this is the first part of a series, so keep it sorry about that. Keep up to date and keep online with what's coming out from our other speakers for the rest of the Trade Zone Week Ahead series. So wish you the best of trading for this week, and look forward to seeing what comes out of the FOMC later this week. So good trading, and bye for now.